Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and this is the fourth episode of Doctor Who, and this is the annual episode of the season where the Doctor hardly appears in it. Like Blink during David Tennant's era, or some of the other ones that have been through the years, and those are usually some of the best, and this is a pretty good one. We open with the Doctor and Belinda arriving in London in 2007 at New Year's, and he's taking another reading when they run into a little boy named Conrad. And the Doctor and Melinda talk to him, and then the Doctor gives him a coin. And he runs off to tell his mother he just saw this weird blue box appear, and the Doctor and Melinda came out, and they gave him this coin, and his mother just smacks him one, saying, "Stop lying, telling your stories." Well, we then cut 2 years later, and he's now an adult, and he has a podcast, and his guest is Ruby. You remember Ruby Sunday from the previous season. And then we learn a little backstory that he'd been intrigued by this doctor in the blue box and had been constantly looking and researching, and details his second encounter, which was fairly recently, or no, which was a year ago, in which he saw the box and he went into this little area, and some of this goo got on his hands, and he saw this weird monster, and then the Doctor and Ruby showed up, and the Doctor gives her a vial to drink, and then they go off to take care of whatever this is, and he runs. And then he sees them come out, and as they're getting into the TARDIS, he snaps a picture of her and puts it online with the caption, "Have you seen this person?" And eventually, Ruby shows up at his apartment. She'll be on his, or a studio. She'll be on his podcast. So they talk on the podcast, and she tells a little bit about the Doctor. He's her friend. They do a lot of traveling. She's seen a lot of amazing things. She has encountered aliens. And then afterwards, he invites her out for a drink, and she goes with him. And she shows him footage of the creature he had seen before. It's called a shriek, and says that the goo that he got on his hands is a way that they mark their prey. And there's a new one coming, and it's coming for him. And she gives him the antidote. If he drinks this that night, the shriek will not come. And she details all the ways that it does, starts playing with the electricity, and you see glimpses, and he's like, why? They like the taste of fear in their meat. Anyways, he then invites her out to dinner the next night, and then they start having a relationship. And she's actually kind of happy. And her adoptive mother and her birth mother are all very happy for her. It's the first time she smiled since the Doctor left. And eventually, we get to the inevitable weekend trip away, where if they see if this is going to go anywhere, and they're going to this little village where he originally grew up outside of London, and where all his friends are, and she meets his friends, and then she starts noticing some weird electrical, fidgeting, and she excuses herself, goes out and calls unit, talks to Lethbridge Stewart's daughter, and she assures her that they aren't picking anything up. And after Ruby gets off the phone, Stewart goes down to the vault and checks the shriek. Still there. Well, after that, all the lights go out. And there's these weird noises outside, and then this woman comes running in. There's monsters in the street. Oh no. And then Conrad reveals he never drank the antidote. He wanted to be brave for her. She calls him an idiot. there's someone's kid out there. Oh no. And so she grabs I think it's either a crowbar or a fireplace poker, I'm not sure which, and goes out to save the kid. And Conrad follows her with a cricket bat. And they're seeing glimpses of it. And she's called Unit, and Unit is on its way, and Unit arrives. They find remnants of the boy's hat and sneaker. They're too late. And then the creatures pop up in front of Unit, and they're ready to shoot him when they're back up on their legs, pull off their heads. It's all a trick. Turns out Conrad was behind the whole thing. He's head of a group called Think Tank. They are to expose the truth about Unit and the lies about aliens and monsters and how they're just milking the teat of the government taxes for this ridiculous thing. And he's got it live streaming, and Ruby's crushed. Well, he gets arrested but released, not really much to hold him on. And he becomes a national celebrity, and he doxes everyone at Unit. So none of them can go home, so Ruby has to go to Unit headquarters, where she'll be safe, because there's a lot of backlash. And Stuart, in looking to his past, realizes Conrad isn't really a true believer. He's a grifter. He's doing this for money, fame, power. The usual. But then it turns out that they have a mole in their midst. And he's let Conrad in the building. And Conrad grabs a gun from the guard, the mole knocked out. In the struggle over the gun, he shoots the mole and leaves him there. And he makes his way up to the main floor. And he holds them all at gunpoint. He's live streaming. He demands they either give him proof or admit it's all a grift. And Stuart pities him. And she locks the floor down. See, they were about to transfer the Shriek. So it's there in a cage. And she opens the cage. You never drank the antidote. You're his prey. And then she has everybody just stand back and watch as he's chased and scared. And eventually, it's like right up in his face. And he screams, "All right, I lied. I don't really believe." And then Ruby runs up with the taser and tases it. And he tries to thank her, and she's like, "Save it." Turns her back on him, and he gets back up and says, "Ha, it's all just special effects." And the stunned Shriek at that point rears back up and chomps on his arm. The aftermath. Ruby decides she had been waiting for the doctor for no reason. They had their time. She's got to move on, and she needs some time alone to process. And the main reason she was getting close to Conrad was because he had experienced the doctor, and she felt that there was a connection there. But now she realizes she has to make connections of her own, on her own, by her own. And Stuart wishes her luck. The Shriek gets transported, and the mole will survive. He's in critical care. Conrad didn't really give two bits about this guy that he shot. And he's in a cell in the medical wing of whatever prison they're in, because, well, he broke into a government facility. He shot a government employee, held people hostage. It's all on video. It's all on live stream. He streamed it out. It's his own evidence. And the doctor's TARDIS appears around him. And the doctor's there, and he's not too happy with him, and he chastises him. All the doctor's ever done is try to protect people, regular people, ordinary people, so they could go about their lives untroubled by these things. But you like to feed into fear anger to enrich yourself, make yourself powerful. You're the real monster. I don't believe you. I don't believe any of this. I reject your reality and replace it with my own. And doctors just, so be it. Die alone in your cell. Next thing Conrad knows is he's alone. Did it happen? Did it not? The governor of the prison, that's what they call wardens there, shows up. It's Mrs. Flood. And she's like, yeah, it happened. It's pretty impressive how big it is, isn't it? She holds up the keys. This is your lucky day. Bet this is going to tie into the end, in which Conrad's going to get irrefutable proof. These things are all real. And it's going to blow him away. Because I'm pretty sure whatever Miss Flood's planning, it's not good. And if she's releasing Conrad, it's not good for him either. Good episode? Not as good as last week. Last week was pretty awesome. But yeah, it's a really good one. The ones without the Doctor are actually always usually really good. You get a lot of good character. Last season's, where we actually saw Ruby go through like 20, 30 years of her life without him. Because he disappeared in a time vortex thing. It was really good. And this one's good too. A lot of emotions. That twist in the middle where it turns out Conrad was just using her was heart-wrenching. But you know, I should have seen it coming. It was just too good to be true about him, you know? And he's a nasty villain. He doesn't care about anyone as long as he gets his. Under the guise of being a truth teller. Yes, you can bring on all the comments about how, oh, it's just a reflection of blah, blah, blah. And, you know, these streamers and those YouTubers and blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. It was a good story and a good payoff. Good character arc. Good enough for me. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.